Okay, I believe we are live. Yes, we are live. I'm starting a little early. Uh, since it is early, folks might be planning beer in 3 minutes. I'll just make small talk until then. Um, it's kind of crazy around this planet lately, huh? Uh, I won't bore you with politics, but I am a NASA contractor. And while the shutdown has not directly affected me yet much, there is a chance that I will be retiring sooner than I planned. Um, Not that I don't look forward to retirement, but I did plan to work a fair bit longer. I can retire now, and that's it's kind of up in the air and not really up to me at this point. So, uh, if I do retire, one of the things that I want to do, I have I have a long list of things that I want to use the extra time for. I don't know if I'll get to them all, but is I want to do some sky watching. And my philosophy of sky watching is don't go out expecting to see UFOs. Just go out and enjoy the sky, enjoy the time outdoors, and maybe plan to see comets or meteor showers, things like that, in addition to sky surveillance. But at the same time, keep careful records, because that is data that may be useful. There are hypotheses that we can test with good Skywatch data. We don't, at present, as far as I know, have good data for either human Skywatches or automated that we can make sense of. And well, I've talked about this in the past, but the idea is to correlate that with sighting reports and see if there's any, what the hypothesis is that there might be a negative correlation, in which case that may indicate that we are dealing with a real phenomenon. And, but we'll see. We'll see. For that, we need a lot of sky watches in a lot of places, and proper careful area, I think, to maintain surveillance. And I had my one close encounter in the suburbs of DC. So I think it's a good place. There might be even better areas. Los Angeles, for example, San Diego, Denver, areas where you have lots of wide open sky and many, many people. You're going to get some reports. We know that most, is that when we have a, since the vast majority of the sightings are spurious, we don't really know how, one thing that, we get a lot of that, just a big backyard. Please get separately. You probably need a minimum of 4 people. Probably best would be something around the order of 6 or 7 people to do a Skywatch scientifically, because you have to keep good records. You want to get video of everything you can, and you want to spot everything you can. Make sure you got it all spotted. So 4 or 5 people, probably at a minimum. You could do it with one person. You could do it solo, but it'd be difficult to keep track of everything. So, and I do that myself. I go out with a video camera, and I informally watch the sky. But doing it scientifically is different. You have to catch everything and have preparation, and then afterwards you have to go process your records. I'll put a link in the description when I'm done. Is also on, I posted a link on Reddit and also on the APA Case Files Blue Sky account. And I will be speaking at that conference. The description implies I can be talking about an abduction case. That's a bit misleading. We don't really know what happened to this gentleman. This is a case that we discussed previously on the live stream. It's 12-058 with Marcia Barnhart. Marcia was the lead investigator in the case. I also was involved with it. This was back a while ago. But it still remains one of our most interesting and exotic cases. So I'm happy to discuss it at Mysteries of Space and Sky, along with some other cases, and in the general framework of what is it that makes for a good UFO case. And I hope that speech will come out much better than the last one I did there, where I got cut short on time, and actually the front of my talk got cut off, not the back, but I had no time for Q&A. So this time hopefully it will be better, and I won't be the first speaker. And tickets are still available for Mysteries of Space and Sky. Peter Rest is the organizer. Peter has an Eventbrite site set up, as he always does, where you can purchase tickets. And as UFO conferences go, this is pretty cheap. And no, I'm not getting paid a whole lot of money for doing this speech. He usually gives me a small honorarium, but, and Peter's not getting rich doing this either. I'm pretty sure of that. So he does it as a labor of love. So what I would urge you to do is, if you're going to be in the DC, Baltimore area on Saturday, November 1st, stop by there, say hello. I'll probably have a corner of a table. I believe Justin Bamforth is going to be there as well. And if you probably have heard of Justin and his book, The Spectrum, and his podcast, and some of the other stuff that he does. Justin's a real how to contact us and some tips what to do during a sighting. A lot of people, when they have a sighting, they kind of freeze up. They just stand there and go, "Oh my God, what is that?" And it's gone, and they don't know. And I'm not one to talk. Okay, but excuse me. So I thought maybe having a little card with reminders on the back might help. And by the way, all this stuff is on our website, has been there for a while. So if you want to go to reportaufo.org, you'll find everything you need there. And you can get in touch with me that way too. Or you can leave a comment here on this video, or you can email reportaufo@protonmail.com. By the way, we did have some problems with our website 2 or 3 weeks ago. Reportaufo.org was not working properly. It was not going to the right page, or wasn't going to any page. That, I believe, is now WordPress Whisperer. Please get in touch. I'd be ever so grateful. WordPress is just me. Well, today I don't have a special guest, and it's not been our policy on this live stream to have a special guest every 2 weeks or every show. And I'm hoping we will have one for the next one, which will be October 16th. Yeah. And also October 30th. I'll announce it as soon as I know who it's going to be. If you want to follow us on social media, probably the best place is Blue Sky. We are not that active on Twitter anymore. Well, no, we're not active at all on Twitter anymore. We're very much inactive also on Facebook. Engagement on every social media platform has been poor. And maybe that's me and not the platform. But there are other reasons to avoid Twitter and Facebook besides just the poor engagement. There is a group that I started on Facebook for API case files, and didn't get a lot of excitement going there. There's also a subreddit, but again, I'm the only one who posts there, basically, and you are welcome to post on our subreddit if you want. It's open to everybody. There's some loose rules about posting there, but essentially it's just, good behavior. And it doesn't have to be directly about UFOs. It could be about adjacent topics. So I'll tolerate that. I'll try my best to tolerate almost anything. Not a good place to post your cat pictures or an ad for your business, but otherwise, not a bad subreddit to make use of. I'd love to get it going. It's 14 minutes. I can prattle on with the best of them. All right. I'm going to talk about some cases, including one of my very favorite video cases, if not the favorite video case that I have. And I'm going to show you my DaVinci Resolve screen so I can easily move through the video and stop it and pause it and back up and that sort of thing. So let's switch over to that. Okay. And I'm going to start with this relatively recent case. This is 24015, which is one of my favorite recent video cases. This is a gentleman in Australia, very cooperative witness, nice guy. Had a long chat with him about these two video clips that he sent us. The two video clips are shot on separate nights, but they are quite similar in some respects. They're similar in the type of object seen, which is a small triangle of lights that are no apparent strobe, no apparent flashing of any kind, shot with an infrared camera, which has its pluses and minuses, but and these infrared cameras these inexpensive ones are generally for hunting or surveillance, security, and so the quality is not spectacular. There's a lot of streaking, there's a lot of noise. However, things can show up on the IR camera that may not show up on a visible light camera. Without a side-by-side comparison, it's very difficult to say whether it show up or not. So anyway, what I would like to show you is, I'll start out by showing you the clips pretty much as we got them. And it may be difficult to see what's going on, but they're not that long. So here's the first, and that's the first one, and it disappears behind that satellite dish. And here's the second one. The second one? Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's the first one, but it's just zoomed in, and I darkened the background a little bit so you can see the object more clearly. And it's kind of a fuzzy triangle. As you can see, rather noisy. Okay, yeah, that's the second. That was the first clip again. Now the second clip. Oh, okay. You know what? This is the angular radii. Now let me start I apologize. I don't have the right timeline. Let me switch timelines. There, okay. Let's go back to the beginning and get some better context here. This is the first clip. Unmodified original clip. This is what it looks like when I got it. You can see the object there, but it's faint. And why? Well, because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of background, which may be haze, which IR cameras pick up haze a little bit. Okay. And this one was much longer, so I trimmed it to the last 40 seconds, which is when the event happens. And this is moving towards the top of the screen. You'll tell when he starts to slew the camera. There's the object. Okay. And it's making a beeline up towards that cloud. And then it disappears. This little thing here is a spider. This little dangling black thing. It's not a UAP. The witness is quite certain of that. And you can tell he doesn't have an illuminator on, or that spider would be lit up. So in this case, the object disappears behind this tree branch up here after it goes. See how we're going through this. Okay. Now this is the first clip. It has and then, and there's the object. I do a red circle around it, just so you can see, and it disappears behind that cloud and then into that tree. That's where we lose it. And zoomed in. It looks pretty similar. The lights form a triangle. I don't know that the object the lights are mounted on is a triangle. Okay. And so what time we see the stars? So the position in the sky in every frame of this video of the object, understand the nature of the speed of this thing. How fast is it moving? Not absolute speed, because I don't know its altitude. What I do know is, and what I can't figure out, I know the following. I know the timing, and I know where it was in the sky in each frame. So I need to know where it was near the beginning of when I was watching it and near the end. And then divide it by the amount of time between those two frames, and I have the angular rate. And it does appear to be fairly constant. So that's what this analysis video is about. And there it is. And does it pass a star that we can easily identify? Well, once you've identified a few of them, you can identify the rest. Okay, so here it comes down slowly. So it came very close to this Mu-1 Scorpio. That's close enough. So we'll say it was there. And then just before it disappears behind the satellite dish, Gamma Sur. And then, into the muck. So we know the time, and we can calculate the angular rate. Likewise, Here we go on the second clip. There's when it first appears. The freeze frame shows you starting near H. Aquilae. And then there's a star up here called Danab, Al-Danab. So that was 7.6 seconds, 6.7 seconds degrees per second, which is pretty fast, but it's not anomalously fast unless you make some assumptions about altitude, which are not justified. Now, this cloud we're looking at, we don't know its altitude. When I looked on the METARs for the area, there were no clouds indicated. And this is a small, wispy little cloud that probably just didn't register on any of the weather reports. The clouds that had been around earlier that evening were at about 4,000 feet. So it's not an unreasonable assumption that the cloud is 4,000 feet. It's also not an unreasonable assumption that the object we are seeing is that height or higher. How much higher? We can't say. But if it's only 4,000 feet, it is moving well less than the speed of sound. And that's the fastest one. The other one was slower. So they both, I don't know how high it is. I don't think it's a satellite. Now, for the reason it seems to have some extent, it could be satellites in formation. I have not really looked at that case. Satellites do sometimes fly in tight formations, more or less in an experimental mode or just before or after a rendezvous. I'm going to look at that case before I wrap this up. We know about how fast satellites move and should be able to determine if this could have been a satellite. I looked on the ADS-B data for Brisbane on those nights, and there was no aircraft that corresponded to this direction, moving in that direction. So, and the lights do appear to be unusual in that there's no strobe. Is it possible that a strobe would not be visible? I think it would be. You can see there's clearly is some angular extent to it. It's not a point source. It appears to be the lights are more or less in a triangular formation. And usually there's just three of them, so they're going to be a triangle anyway. But so the conclusion I have to reach is that unidentified but not anomalous. We'll look again at satellites, but I think I couldn't identify a satellite pass at the time that would have military aircraft some military aircraft, and I don't know what the rules are for Australia, but around here, but also on ADS-B Exchange, doesn't show up. And there's plenty of people receiving ADS-B signals around here. So, it's fairly routine for military aircraft and sometimes police aircraft to fly without ADS-B. And they don't discuss what they're up to. Around here, we know that it's usually either training missions or comes in or out of the Andrews Air Force Base, or just when they want to lay on extra security, they'll have those guys up there. So anyway, that's what I have to say about this case. It's a good case. It's not a great case because it's only one witness, and because the video quality is not stunning, but it's a good case. The highly cooperative witness reported the event shortly after he experienced it. The project manager, oh, come on. Well, anyway, I'll while I'm looking for it, I will give you some of the background. This was, probably shouldn't go on just memory. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Oh, there it is. Well, anyway, this was in central Ohio. Somewhere a bit northwest of Columbus, which is the largest city in Ohio. Let's see. I apologize this takes so long because I'm slow and old. So anyway, there it is. Okay, the case number is 20030. We'll start with timeline 1. That's fine. Now, we were given this case when Ted Rowe referred the original reporter to me. Ted has referred a few cases to me. Some of them are good and some of them are not so good. This is a good one. Excuse me. Let's see, what do we want to show here? Oh, none of this media offline stuff, please. Okay. Well, let's just start and I'll show it to you. You may have seen this before. The star identifications are mine. But it's dimming smoothly, as if it were radiating out light with what drones look like. And the, okay, that's the whole clip there. This is an attempt to understand what that little flash of light is. However, we really think that that's a mundane phenomenon of headlights from a car nearby. The timeline 3. There it is, without the star identifications. It's not especially correct. You're seeing a lot of lens flares there, little things dancing around it. It's just so bright that it's generating multiple lens flares. You can see he's kind of turning the camera a little bit as he tracks it, which the lens flares move around as a result. However, if you look at the history of that, and this, by the way, this thing, as you can see, it goes on for a while. and it doesn't show any indication of getting dimmer. It's just getting further away. So it's not breaking up. So it would have to be just right at the outer edge of the atmosphere, getting heated up by the atmosphere and staying heated up, which doesn't make sense. But that's not the real reason I think it's not a bolide. It's very, very long duration if it is. Okay. There's film of it. Back then, people didn't have video cameras, but there's film of it. Back then, people didn't have video cameras, but they had film cameras. And people captured it on film. Other people captured photographs of it. One thing that was very prominent was this long smoke trail, maybe hundreds of miles long. At night, it's a little harder on a moonless night as this was to see the smoke trail, but you should still see it somewhat lit up by the bolide itself. And it's near a star. It should obscure the star, at least if there's a smoke trail in the right direction. So anyway, sorry about that. I changed computers. So there's a star 78 Cygnus there with a yellow circle drawn around it. There's some lens flares dancing around it. And it passes almost right in front of that star and out the other side. You can see if that star was no evidence of a smoke trail. But here's the thing that really slams the lid shut on the bolide. Not a minute, more than a minute, like this one did, and possibly longer because we just saw it go out of sight. You get hundreds of reports because there are people all over the country, especially on a nice, clear summer, moonless night, who are out there. People are out there just for no other reason to see the comet that was visible in the sky then. Across the country, you will get hundreds of reports. You really will. And you can look on there's a website. It's the AMS website, the American Meteorological, I think I pronounced that right, Society. Great organization. They track every fireball that anybody reports, including, now these days people report a lot of reentries because there are a lot more reentries. And, they report they follow up on those too. And you get lots of reports. When you see, you go on to YouTube, you'll see almost every day someone will capture video of either a meteor or a fireball, either on their dash cam or their doorbell cam or just outside with their cell phone. And sometimes, rocket launches in particular, which do last, is that this is extremely atypical. If you go look for long duration fireballs on the same site or also the international site, you will see some that are viewed in multiple countries and maybe last for 20, 30 seconds. Very impressive. Lots and lots of people. Not an atmosphere skimming bolide, then it would have not lasted that long. It would have, typically when you see a meteor, you see it for a second or two. Even a really good one maybe lasts, just a few seconds. And you can figure this out just by going, look, you see them when they're coming at you, but that's only the time you see them. Not a helicopter. Helicopter, to be that bright, would have to be extremely loud. We do have the audio. There's nothing. Somebody thought they heard a helicopter on the audio, but I went over and over it. It's not there. So And you hear the guy's dogs playing around during the whole thing. You can hear his voice very clearly. There's a helicopter low enough to be that bright would have been quite audible. And it would have to be shining its spotlight at him the whole time. And you've all seen helicopters with their swinging their spotlights around. They don't look like that. So highly cooperative witness who not only answered my questions, but he took his drone and measured the height of that tree that was behind. He called local authorities. He called the airports. He was very proactive, and I encourage that. And especially if you get back to us the ADSB data, that would be anything like what he saw. The other thing is that it was headed east. You would have thought a lot more people saw it. Nobody did, as far as I can tell. Now, we did have some other reports from that around that 24